Starting late is not your problem. You've been doing work, real work, and the gap keeps growing anyway. That's not a discipline problem, that's a ceiling problem. Coby worked harder than anyone on that ship. The ship went nowhere. Not because of how much he gave, because the limit was already there when he arrived. Nobody outworks a ceiling. The only move is changing the room. That's where his story actually starts. It wasn't hostile. Nobody on the ship was trying to destroy him. And that's the thing about a ceiling that doesn't feel like a ceiling. If the environment is fighting you, you feel it, you leave. But a ceiling that just sits there quietly, you don't feel that. You just think you haven't worked hard enough yet. Alvida's ship had a ceiling because Alvida had a ceiling. Her ambition set the route. Her definition of what mattered decided who got seen. That's not unique to her ship. Every room works this way. The job you're in, the team around you, the circle you move inside. Whoever built that room, their ceiling is the one your effort is running under. You didn't choose it, it accumulated, you showed up, you worked, and at some point it became yours. And then Luffy said something in a barrel on a ship going nowhere that Coby had never let himself say out loud. You can be serious, disciplined, someone who actually does the work, and still be running all of it under someone else's ceiling without knowing it. Coby didn't think his way out of this. Something walked onto that ship and operated from a completely different ceiling. And everything Coby thought he understood about effort changed in one conversation. Because what Luffy brought wasn't just more effort. It was a different question entirely. When Luffy arrived, nothing changed. Same ship, same crew, same ceiling pressing down on everything inside it. What changed was that Coby could finally see it. Watch him on that ship. He's not pushing against Alvida's ceiling. He just isn't inside it. His direction is entirely his own. The ship's structure has nothing to hold him in. Most people have never seen that up close. Someone who isn't inside your room's frame at all. When Coby saw that, he didn't see a better version of himself. He saw proof the ceiling wasn't real. Not find a better mentor. Not copy someone more successful. The moment you're inside an orbit that operates from a different ceiling, your ceiling moves. Not because you changed, but because the room changed. The people you spend the most time around right now, not who you like, not who you're loyal to, whose ceiling is closest to the one you're actually trying to reach. That gap between their ceiling and yours is running underneath everything you're building, quietly, without announcing itself. Coby left that ship with nothing. No guarantee Garp would take him. No proof the new orbit was higher. No way to know until he was already gone. He left because the ceiling he could see was worse than the uncertainty ahead. That decision, no proof, no guarantee, is the one that changed everything. Which raises a harder question than anything we've covered so far. If you already know the ceiling is there, what's actually stopping you from leaving? Coby wasn't the only one inside a room with a ceiling that wasn't his. Helmoppo was there too. Same corrupt environment, one passing through, one planted inside it. Watch what Helmoppo does with the ceiling. He doesn't fight it, doesn't ignore it. He uses it. Morgan's authority becomes his authority. You've seen this. Maybe you've even done it. The environment isn't where you want to be, but it's paying you, connecting you, making you feel like you exist somewhere. So you stop fighting the ceiling and start using it instead. The ceiling becomes the floor. And the problem isn't that it's comfortable. The problem is that it works right up until it doesn't. When Morgan fell, Helmoppo had nothing. Not because he wasn't capable, because everything he built was resting on a foundation that wasn't his. That's the real cause. And you know, every day you spend building on someone else's foundation, you're not building something that holds. And you won't know it until the structure moves. The reason leaving is hard isn't because you don't see the ceiling. You see it. The reason is that the ceiling is also the floor. Same environment setting your limit is the one keeping you fed, keeping you connected, making you feel like you exist somewhere. Coby knew that. The ship was all he had. Alvida's crew was the only world around him. Leaving meant losing the floor at the same time as the ceiling. Helmopo stayed until it collapsed. Coby left before it did. That's the only difference between them. Helmopo corrected it eventually, got inside Garp's orbit, rebuilt, but he got there later. And later always costs something. Not whether you can see the ceiling. You can see it. Whether you're willing to lose the floor to clear it. The common read on Coby's decision is courage. The day he finally believed in himself, the moment he stopped being afraid. He didn't leave because the fear ran away. He left because he knew exactly where he was going. And the moment the destination was clear, the floor stopped mattering. Not because it wasn't real, but because it wasn't on the route. Watch him in Garp's training. He's not comfortable. He's not a new version of himself. Same person, same effort. Same Coby who was hauling rope on Alvida's ship. Same effort, different destination, different route. That's it. Do you know specifically enough where you're going? Specifically enough that the floor stops being the thing you're most afraid of losing? Most people try to solve the problem by building up enough courage to lose it. Coby solved it by knowing exactly where he was going. The floor became irrelevant. The room isn't the first problem. Know where you're going, and the room stops being the most important thing. Coby didn't need a better room. He needed to know where he was going. If you can see the ceiling, but you don't know where you're going, that's not a motivation problem. That's an architecture problem. I built the Starheart Guild on Patreon for exactly that. Monthly challenges, deep dives, and the architecture underneath the clarity. Founding enrollment is still open. First members in get their name on every video permanently. The link's in the description. Coby didn't need a better room first. He needed to know where he was going. Clearly enough that the room stopped mattering. Until next time, crew, under the glow of stars, we forge our future together. Captain Geo Bravo, signing off. Peace.